Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 7th episode of the Hometown Hero Hour. I am your host, Captain Spartacus.
And I'm Dan Cord.
And I'm Delta G, your overlord in the sky.
And you'll notice we look all dressed up and fancy tonight because tonight is our Oscar special. Woo! So we thought we would dress up in honor of the occasion of the Oscars upcoming.
Super fancy, right?
Yeah.
Like we're going down on that red carpet.
Before we get into some of our Oscar talk, we do have some news and information that we want to get to. The first one being that there have been some new vinyl pops announced, and Cuphead and Kingdom Hearts have been announced in that.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Are you especially excited about the about the Kingdom Hearts
You
ones?
know, I would be. I really would be. I can't. I don't collect pops, but it's because I know that I would just put all of my money into it. Like, once I started collecting pops, it would just snowball, and my house would be covered in these vinyl figures. Because they have everything you could ever like.
Yeah.
You know, they have WWE wrestlers, they have Super Mario characters, they have Power Rangers, now they have more Kingdom Hearts, and they have Cuphead figures. Like,
Right.
I would just buy everything that I was interested in. Because I really get the appeal of pops, you know? You have all of your interests displayed on the shelf, and I love it. But it would suck my money away. I would be broke.
Yeah, I have to regulate it just to. These are the ones that come in those monthly boxes.
Oh, like
that they end
Loot
up
Crate
giving.
or whatever.
Yeah, it's they've got a Disney version, a Star Wars version.
Oh, that's cool.
Etc. So I accepted that while I can't have everything that I may want, I can always get some of those and then kind of slate that thirst a little bit.
Yeah, right. So anyway, so that's it. Vinyl pops, very cool.
Nice. And also, so we found out, I believe it was today, March 27th, The Last Jedi is going to be coming out on Blu-ray and 4K.
Yeah, 4K Ultra HD. That'll be super cool.
I'm going to have to find a way that we can play that.
Yeah. Oh, that would be
Big
so
movie
cool.
thing. Yeah,
that would be
that'd
so
awesome.
cool. So the next item on our list is League of Legends got a new champion released this last week. Kai Sa, I think is the name. She is a brand new champion. Not a lot is known about her, but that's pretty typical when League of Legends releases a new champion. No one really knows if she's going to be a top laner, if she's going to be a jungler, if she's going to be a mid laner. It's just kind of trial and error until you figure out where her niche, where she really is. But I mean, I'm excited. All new League of Legends released champions are either permabanned or super OP.
Right.
You know, because they implemented a new ban system where everyone gets a ban. So there are 10 characters that are banned each round, and so typically new champions are always banned because people don't want to have them on their team and have them feed, or they don't know how to play against them. So
Right. I mean, it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Give people time to bake that in, get the balancing done before.
yeah, and I
go
think
crazy.
Zoe was the latest released before this, and she's a mid laner, and she is really strong, and I still see her banned all the time.
Interesting.
So yeah, new League of Legends champion, good stuff.
Nice. And then also, Black Panther came out over the weekend, and it grossed $242 million in the United States.
Yeah.
And $387 million worldwide.
And that's what high grossing movies make total.
Yeah.
Right? And this
Exactly.
did it in its opening weekend. I can't believe that. That's so
that
cool.
is fantastic.
That's really
I
cool.
wish that I knew the numbers. I don't have them on me of how much the actual budget for it was.
Oh, okay.
Because, they've probably already made, even if it was 140
10 times
million,
over,
right?
I'm sure, yeah.
They've made, triple, quadruple their money already.
Yeah.
And it's the first weekend.
Yeah.
Like, it is
Crazy.
just nuts.
I know I haven't seen it yet. But
I haven't yet either.
So, I mean, that's like $12 more that Black Panther can count on
Yeah, right?
count on getting.
18.
18 more dollars, my
There
guy.
we go.
Nice. So that'll do it for our news and information segment. Now we're going to get right into our Oscar special, and we'll go through some of the categories and talk about some of the different titles, directors, actors that are in those movies. We've seen, I would say, most
Quite a
of
few.
the films.
Yeah, probably most.
We'll be kind of glossing over some categories like foreign film or short documentary because
not really our
I haven't
shtick.
seen any of those. I don't even know where to find them because I didn't go to the Sundance Film Festival, I guess.
Right.
So anyway, so we're going to get right into that. Stick around. All right, so the first topic that we want to get into is the category of Best Picture. These are the biggest movies of the year, the ones that have been awarded the most nods and the most nominations. And so we want to get to those very first. So on that list is Call Me By Your Name, Darkest Hour, Dunkirk, Get Out, Lady Bird, Phantom Thread, The Post, The Shape of Water, and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. I haven't seen all of these movies. I've made a good effort to see a lot of them, but there have been some that I haven't seen. So if there are some movies that we don't talk about that you have seen, let us know down in the comment section.
Yeah, definitely put in the comments what you thought, anything that moved you, any criticisms you had, because we want to know too.
Yeah,
if they're worth watching, let us know.
Right, and maybe how they square up against some of the other movies in this category.
Yeah.
So first of all, what movie do you think will win overall? What movie do you think will win Best Picture?
Honestly, out of this list of the ones that I've seen and the ones that I've watched trailers for, I think I've been most impressed with Get Out. Yeah, I just thought that it had a super original story, a really interesting twist on how they did everything.
Yeah.
I liked that they had kind of that message about casual racism in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then I really liked that they flipped it on its head in the end.
It was so weird in the beginning, the exchanges with the girlfriend and then with the cop that stops them on the way up to the cabin. I was just like, is this what this whole movie's going to be about?
Right.
Because I get it, but I don't want to watch, like, that's not interesting to me for a whole movie.
Right.
And that's not something that could carry, like, that heavy-handed, in-your-face, on-the-nose subject matter could not carry through a whole movie.
Right.
But then in the end, it turns out that was all for, like, a reason.
Right. Well, I think it's funny that it all comes down to a fashion statement.
Yeah, essentially.
You know,
that's right.
I mean,
That's
really,
right. Yeah.
it's, you know, the African Americans are in right now.
Oh,
And
they're
that's
so hot
just-
right now.
Right? And so I thought that was kind of an interesting play on it. That through the whole movie, you're like, okay, what? You can't say that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Or things like that. And then all of a sudden it turns out that none of that was what was actually going on. They were talking fashion instead.
Yeah.
Which is super messed up.
Yeah.
So what did you think about the two that you've seen that I haven't? The Darkest Hour and Dunkirk.
Yeah, I saw Darkest Hour and Dunkirk, and it was interesting that in the same year they had movies that had overlapping timelines like this. So, of course, The Darkest Hour is Gary Oldman playing Winston Churchill, and when he becomes the prime minister, and the political turmoil that surrounds that, and kind of how he handles the beginning of taking over as prime minister, and really trying to turn the tide of the war because he became prime minister at such a terrible
Crappy.
time. Yeah, I don't want to say it's such a dark hour because that even I am too good for a roll credits like that. But yeah, so he had a hard job ahead of him. It was a very, very uphill battle. And soon after he became prime minister was when the events of Dunkirk happened. When there were some 400,000 soldiers that got pushed to Dunkirk, France, to the coast, and were all, just being pushed into the ocean, essentially.
Interesting.
And Winston Churchill had to, that was one of the first big things that he did was get those forces back. I thought that Gary Oldman in Darkest Hour was really good. We'll get into that as we talk about lead actor.
I've got plenty to say about Gary Oldman.
I thought that he was great. I thought that the movie could have done more. It really could have done more. It ended in, this big rousing speech of him getting the support of the other politicians. And I don't know all of, the British terminology, but he got the British, legislation and parties behind him. And that's kind of when the movie ended. And I was sad to see that because now that he's starting to build up steam, the movie's over. So I would have liked to have seen more. And as far as Dunkirk goes, that movie was rough.
Really?
Because it was just like the horrors and the slaughters and the stress and all the stuff that surrounded these troops trying to get out of Dunkirk. And it was a really depressing movie.
Slog of depression for 2 hours.
And there just was no hope through the whole movie. And again, I wanted to see more from this, and it would have been really easy to end on a hopeful note because they got pushed out of France, and now England. Nothing stands between the Axis powers and England now. Just the Channel. That's it, right? But I think it would have been really cool if at the end of the movie they had jumped to. They had jumped to D-Day And now it's the English taking, pushing back.
Coming and pushing back.
And it would have ended on kind of a redemptive note.
Interesting.
Because, like I said, the whole movie was just this hopeless uphill struggle. Nothing was working. Everything was against them. And I got out of the movie like, oh my gosh, I need to call my mom. Like,
it sounds like the Curse of Strahd.
Yeah, it was the Curse of Strahd. It was the Curse of Strahd of movies this year, where everything was awful and depressing, and it ended terribly. Yeah. So, I mean, I get that it was like a historical movie, and it's based on historical events, so you can't jazz that up a whole lot. You have to stick to the events, but there are still ways that you can do that makes it feel like it's more of like it's less of a slog and more of a journey.
Right. Well, I mean, you even talked about it, shifting the timeline a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it could have just been like D-Day, and they're just like, ah, and then it's over, right? Because it's historical, we know what happens.
Right.
So anyway, so that's just my thoughts on Darkest Hour and Dunkirk. Again, it was just interesting that in the same year they had these two big movies that had such overlapping timelines.
Yeah, it's almost like they found out about them and then said, we need something to compete.
Yeah, right. Yeah, this is like Medal of Honor, Call of Duty of the movies this year. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what else have we seen on this list? Oh, you've seen The Shape of Water.
Part of it.
I haven't seen it.
So the thing that really interested me about The Shape of Water is as I'm watching kind of the trailer for it, the first thing that I think is, holy crap, somebody has played BioShock and took Rapture, pulled Rapture directly out of there and made a movie inside of Rapture.
And that premise sounds really cool.
Sounds really awesome, right?
Sounds good.
So I was interested, so talked to some people, started watching it, and I actually had to stop because there was just a lot of unneeded things. Once I got to like the second sex scene that they had in it, I was like, all right, this is enough gratuitous, and I really didn't feel like it helped the plot any. The pieces that I did watch made it really was building up to Romeo and Juliet, but with a fish person. Right?
New fresh take. Yeah.
I guess there's no love like fish love.
They say it's the truest love there is. I know that The Shape of Water has gotten a lot of awards already this year, and that Guillermo del Toro is up for Best Director for The Shape of Water. So critically, it's gotten a lot of awards. I mean, it could have been a really great movie, but I just can't get through like the first 10 minutes of it because of my personal preferences. So.
Right. Exactly.
And
it potentially could be a good thing for like VidAngel.
Yeah, sure.
You know, once that gets metered out and you can go and put it in, skip all the crap you don't want to see.
I mean,
so that we can enjoy it.
Yeah, and content like that I feel like makes your movie more exclusive. You know, on my channel and on this channel, we don't use language. We try to keep things
family
friendly.
Exactly.
Because it keeps things inclusive.
Yeah.
No one watches a channel and says, "Oh man, they're really good, but only if they use more language." Like there wasn't nearly enough F words for me, right?
Exactly.
Nobody says that. So we just want to make inclusive content, and so we keep things
clean. And that's why
we
decide to do what we do.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just think that when you have that more adult content, it makes your product more exclusive and limiting, but. That's just
all right, we're gonna get off our soapbox now.
Yeah, no, yeah,
but you had still seen. You saw the 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri, right?
Yeah, and 3 billboards. It's been, I don't know. It's one of those ones that's pretty highly predicted to win Best Picture, but I would hate to see that.
Really? Why is that?
I really would, because the main character ends in the exact same place where she started. The main character has no arc. She's super, super static. Sam, what's his name, that plays Officer Dixon in the movie, has a really great arc and some really great redemption, and I liked him a lot. I think he's up for Best Supporting Actor.
Cool.
So I guess that's a little bit of a spoiler. Yeah, yeah, Sam Rockwell. That's his name. Thank you, Delta. Sam Rockwell is up for Best Supporting Actor for his role in 3 Billboards, and I thought he was kind of the best. I mean, he was the best character to me. Woody Harrelson was great too, but he was the best character. And that was 3 Billboards was another movie where it was just nothing but anger and language and depressing stuff through the whole movie. So the first half of the movie, there's an F word every sentence. There's a lot of C words that I was like, ugh, it's so aggressive. Like, it's such a sharp word. I can handle a pretty fair amount of F words before it's just like, oh my gosh. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like if someone said bowl every sentence. You would get so sick of the word bowl. But,
well, you just look back at the Smurfs.
Yeah, right.
I mean, once you get there, you're just like, okay, it's lost all meaning at that point.
Yeah, right. But like the C word, even just the first time, I'm like, oh, I don't like that word. So the first half was just like full of language and like really aggressive violence. And then the second half really chilled out, and you thought, okay, this is where there's going to be some character development. This is where things are going to happen, and nothing happened. The whole movie is about her wanting to solve the case of her daughter's murder.
Okay.
And nothing happens.
So you don't actually get to find out what happens in the end?
Nope, you
Really?
don't. You have no idea. You have no idea. They are literally driving off into the sunset, and the movie just ends. It was so strange to me, and maybe I missed the point of the movie, but yeah, the main character had no arc. She was just really angry and violent, and I mean, I get that her daughter was brutally murdered, and so she's pretty bitter about that, but nothing happened with her. The police officers were all just like lazy, racist do-nothings, and I hated that too. So it was just like, I was really unimpressed with Three Billboards, and if it wins Best Picture, I'll be disappointed. I mean, is it the shiniest poop this year? Maybe. I mean, I haven't been impressed overall with any of the movies on this list, with the exception of like Get Out.
It seems like that's the
whatever.
only one that we've really kind of attached to and really loved.
Yeah.
So
there are some that aren't on this list that I really liked this year. I think It was the best movie that I saw last year.
Oh, it's so good.
It was a really, really solid storytelling movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't groundbreaking necessarily. It wasn't Oscar bait. It was, you know what I mean? It was just like a solid suspense horror movie.
Yeah,
and
I
it
think I can
blew
get
my
behind that.
mind. I really, really liked it. And then The Big Sick.
Oh right,
And
yeah,
I
saw
really,
that.
really liked The Big Sick.
It was original. It was
his story.
Yeah,
it was Kumal's story, and I didn't really know that until like halfway through or till the end.
Are you serious?
That
That's
was
his
actual story.
No way.
Doesn't that make it 10 times better?
Holy cow!
He and his wife, the real Emily, wrote that movie together, and that's the real story of So like, I have crazy respect for him, and that movie made me laugh. I cared about the characters. It made me want to cry. It was just like this great emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
Just big, meaty movie that you could get so much out of. And I would have loved to have seen it nominated up here for an Oscar for Best Picture, because that movie was really, really good.
No, I can completely get behind that, because when I was watching it, at the beginning you think that it's going to be kind of that normal, okay, this is a rom-com, and here's what's going to happen, and they're going to not like each other, and then they're going to like each other, and then this is going to happen, and then everything gets flipped on its head, right? And now she's in the hospital, and he has no reason to stay other than he kind of likes her, but then he is by her side the whole time, and it was one of those romantic comedies that I didn't tire of, you know, because you get to that point in a rom-com where and maybe it's just me, but your lack of stimulation completely.
Well,
there's nothing going on up here for me to try to figure out what's going on.
Well, typically with romantic comedies, the beginning conflict is really interesting, and then you want to know the resolution, but that middle bit is just hum. Yeah. It's just static noise to me, right?
Exactly.
Like,
your brain shuts off. You stop thinking about anything. But in this, I was trying to figure out what was going on, and the twist ending, where it doesn't, it doesn't end up the way that you think it's going to, made it feel real at that point. Yeah. And now when you start pointing out that that's actually real, that's what they went through.
I mean,
makes total sense.
Everything that I know, that's his real story.
Wow.
So really cool.
I highly recommend seeing that one.
Yeah, I would really, really recommend that one too. That was really good. Are there any other movies that you saw this last year that you think should be on this list, or just that? Did you have a favorite from last year?
Yes, I would actually say Thor Ragnarok would be on there, which is one of those. It's not really any bait for Oscars and it's not going to win
No,
anything.
typically the superhero movies don't get nominated for Best Picture. They get
They
nominated
really
for soundtrack or visual effects or something like
Right,
that.
and I think that we've actually got it later on. In the
Yeah,
list,
I
so
think
we
so
can
too.
talk
I'm not
about it.
sure, but we'll
But
get there.
I just really liked how they took the formulaic superhero movie and kind of flipped it on its head.
Yeah, and they kind of
And-
did these meta jokes and
They were able to take something that I think is plagued by being very formulaic and just kind of ho hum and normal,
yeah.
and flipped it on its head and made it something fresh and interesting.